Good morning, good day, good day. Hey y'all.
Hey y'all, Harmony and Hustle.
What's happening? This Saturday we are, first of all, let me tell y'all, for those of you who are new here, um, this is Harmony and I'm hustling. And what we do is we go to different local coffee shops in our area and we support them. We support small business owners because we are both small business owners.
Yeah.
And we feed our love of coffee. So today we are at Social Grounds in Jacksonville, Florida. We got the same thing this time. We both got the apple pie latte. It has apple and caramel and cardamom. Cardamom is an Indian spice, but it's really, really good.
Yeah.
They do offer 16-ounce cups for
Yes,
hour.
because y'all know how I feel about my coffee cup sizes. So to see that they offer 16 ounces already a check in my book. And I got the same thing as Erica, which I typically don't get.
No, you don't.
But
He got an extra shot as
But
always.
and I got an extra shot of espresso. It's something about the coffee got to be strong, and it got to be quite a bit of it. But so far, it's really good. It's pretty strong because I got the extra shot of espresso.
It's pretty strong without the extra shot, but it's not affecting the taste. You know, sometimes those espresso shots can kind of overtake the flavor of the coffee, and it's not doing that at all. I love it.
Yes.
I love a fancy barista. I love when they make the little pretty designs in the foam. I love that. It makes me feel fancy.
That's one of the things that I can say I enjoy about coming to some of these small coffee shops is a lot of them the baristas do like the designs and stuff in the coffee, and I think it's pretty dope.
Make me feel fancy. Oh, what we also got was a sweet potato pie kalashki.
I had never even heard of what a kalashki was until I got here, so I didn't know.
It has homemade toasted marshmallows on top of it. Albert and I already took a bite of it. It is absolutely
We'll
delicious.
post a picture
pictures
of
and
it.
everything. Yeah. But it is absolutely amazing. So we're enjoying this. We're a lot quieter than we typically are because this is a lot smaller of a coffee shop. It is very it's very intimate. Very simple, not over the top, real clean designs. Kind of a rustic, exposed brick, wood, industrial wood, and stuff like that. It's real. I like it.
It's as they would say, cutesy.
Very demure.
Very demure. It's nice. You know, it's a nice little spot to come. There's also a meeting going on in front of us, which is also why we're keeping our volume low too.
Yeah.
But
Being respectful.
I can say that the coffee is good. How you say it again? Kalashki. How you say it? Kalashki. I could see
Sweet
somebody
potato.
trying to make that a name for a child. Kalashe. I could see one of us people doing it.
We already have a Karuchi.
But this thing is good. And then they got the marshmallows. Again, we're going to have pictures
Yeah.
because
like the pastry is buttery.
Yeah, it's so
The
good.
sweet potato,
It's good.
the filling is actually perfect. It's not too sweet. It's not too cinnamony. It's not too nutmeggy. I don't like sweet potato pies with a whole bunch of nutmeg. But it's good. It's really good. The marshmallow didn't do too much. It wasn't too much. It wasn't over the top. It was perfect. It was perfect. So Albert and I are enjoying this very cold
Yeah, it's pretty chilly.
Saturday morning. It is about 37 degrees here in Jacksonville. For those of you who think that Florida is just hot all year round, that is a lie from the pits of hell.
So I was listening to our daughter talk to her friend yesterday, and she was like, "Girl, you would think that in Florida it was always hot." She said, "Girl, it's cold." I guess this is a friend of hers in Chicago.
Yeah.
And her friend is like, "Girl, it get cold like that." Yeah, it do. Yeah, it do.
And we live right
On the water
on
too.
the water, so for those of you who are in Chicago, you know how the water off of the lake
Yeah.
can make temperatures even colder or feel colder, and that's what it is. It's not as windy. It's not as windy,
but
it's cold.
it can drop into the 30s and
And
sometimes
20s.
the low, the 20s.
Yeah, it's been cold.
And you wouldn't think that in Florida, in sunny Florida, but it can get, depending on where you live, because we
Where
lived
we
in,
used to live,
yeah,
it wasn't.
when we lived in Summerfield, which was a much smaller part of a city in Florida, but it was off
Central
the
Florida.
water.
Yeah, it was
so,
Central Florida, so we were near no water.
Yeah, so it was-
winters were probably what? I think the coldest it was maybe 30, 35 degrees.
35, 40, yeah, maybe, but not even that cold. But here in Jacksonville, yeah, it get pretty cool. It get pretty cool. But y'all, look, we are into the new year. This is the first video of
Happy New Year.
2025.
For those of you, because I'm technical, for those of you who believe that January is the new year, Happy New Year. For those of you who believe that the new year is in April, God willing, we'll get there.
So, being the new year, I think it would be appropriate to talk about New Year resolutions.
But we don't make resolutions.
We don't, but a lot of other people do. So we have a pretty different outlook on New Year resolutions. I know I do. Like a lot of people.
I think we have the same view, and that's just whatever it is that you want to change, whatever it is that you want to improve in your life, you can do that right now. You don't have to wait till a new year. You don't have to wait till a new week. You don't even have to wait for a new day. You can do it right now. I think that for a lot of people, and I'll be honest, even myself, for a lot of people, it's less about the resolution and more about the fresh start.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, last year was rough. I got a fresh start. This is January 1, 2025, day one. Let's do it. So I think for a lot of people, it's the idea of getting a do-over, a fresh start. You get another 365 days to do it again.
But so I watched a video / read an article that people set these resolutions because it's a new start, but by the 10th day,
Yeah, statistically.
statistically, within the 10th day of January, over
They will have
80%
already,
of
yeah.
people would have quit on their goals already. But I didn't even know it was a thing. They call it National Quit Day. January 10th.
It's a day.
Yes, there's a day. January 10th is when statistically most people quit whatever resolution they set. And I think it's crazy because, I think people create resolutions with good intentions.
Yeah.
But I think it just being a new year is not, like, you get that initial motivation because you're like, oh, it's a new year.
But by week 2, you kind of over it. Nobody's
it's
saying
like-
Happy New Year anymore. Everybody's kind of, all of the sales, they starting to put out all of the spring sales, all the New Year sales are over. So I think, you know what, but I think that if more people adopted the idea of, I don't know if you've heard of this book, it's an awesome book, I've read it, it's called Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
And in the book, I won't give it all away because you can read your own self.
Yeah.
But in the book, it talks about creating very small, healthy habits and just doing those one little small habits every day. And then those small habits will turn into big habits. And the more you do them, the more they grow. But you still have to celebrate the wins.
I think what a lot of people do is people create these big overhauls, like going back to what you were saying about creating the small, more attainable steps. I think a lot of people quit goals because they make them so big and don't break them down. It's like you have a goal, oh yeah, I'm gonna lose 60 pounds in 2 months. Well, the reality is, could you? Yeah, but you might not. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be able to hold yourself to the really big goals, because it just is overwhelming. But if you can break it down, you say, okay, I want to lose 60 pounds. But it doesn't have to be all at that one time. You might just give yourself a small goal to drink more water first, or to start exercising more often, and then you just.
And you'd be surprised with those small changes.
Yeah.
So small changes always. Let me try. Small changes with consistency can become big changes.
Right.
Say for instance, so our daughter is now she's exploring the Bible. I love that for her. But she just went in Genesis chapter 1.
I mean, from the beginning.
From the beginning. And we were explaining to her, like, don't try to you'll be reading the Bible for 1,000,000 years if you're going to start. And she won't, and that's not an attainable goal. Like, you're not going to, if that's the goal, is to finish the Bible, Genesis to Revelations. You're going to be forever trying to get there, and she'll more than likely give up before she gets to her goal.
Yeah.
So instead, what I was explaining to her was, which I gave her something that would help her to understand it better. I told her to go to a Bible class. What about just commit to that? Because at Bible class, yeah, they're going to try to get you to get saved, to be a part of the church. But if you go with the intention to learn about the Bible, like that's literally what Bible class is for. They break the Bible down. They teach you the Bible. So start with that. Or if that's too big of a step, I even suggested to her to go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and look up Bible studies or people who explain the Bible or things like that. And then what she can do is she can look at those videos and then she can go back and reference those videos in the actual Bible. And then she can better understand it. Oh, okay, I remember. And the likelihood of her getting to her goal is more likely.
But the conversation about helping your young adult children navigate spirituality is a whole other type of conversation.
Yes.
Because
we'll have to talk about that at another time.
Yeah, because that's something that Erica and I have very alternative beliefs spiritually, and we've been trying to figure out how we want to kind of incorporate it with our kids. Even though we both grew up as Christians, so it's just like that's a whole other thing. But what Erica was saying, as far as helping her to break it down so that she can understand it, because see, our daughter was thinking that reading the Bible was like reading a chapter book.
Yes, she did.
Like you read it from beginning to end, and that it was going to build on each other, it was going to make sense. She didn't. So that's why Erica had to help her to understand, like, that's not how you really like read the Bible. Even though I know a lot of people who have started from the beginning and went to the end, but you won't get a lot of value out of it that way, because
there's a lot of context that you would. So I think more than her reading the Bible, and we kind of get, bless you, we're kind of getting off subject. Is the goal is to meet the wildly important the WIGs. But in pursuing these wildly important goals, they have to be attainable. And I think that's what you were talking about, like the example you used about losing weight during the new year or for the new year, things like that. Like start with just drinking more water, because that's the goal. That's something that you can measure. And in this book, what's the name of the book? I forgot.
Which one? Atomic Habits?
No, the one that talks about the WIGs.
I can't think of the name of the book right now.
We'll post that information at the
5
bottom.
Principles of Leadership, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's 5 principles. Yeah, I think it is that 5 Principles of Leadership. You might feel like that book does not pertain to you. You might not be in a leadership role. At the time, I was in a leadership role, so I read the book. It was a requirement for all of the managers, but Albert read the book, and he enjoyed the book. And now I use the book for my own personal self. And I think it would even be a good idea for us to do it with the kids, like with their behaviors and with chores. Let's get a board and monitor their progress and reward them when they're doing well.
You know what?
I did it with my staff.
That's a good idea. And what, like, tying back into what we were talking about as far
that's a
as,
goal.
like,
I mean, that could be a New Year, well, that's a going forward goal.
New Year resolutions is coming up with a wig, wildly important goal, and that is basically what is the one thing that you can do that will improve a lot of other areas. You know what I mean? It's not just like one goal to drink more water, but what is one thing that you can do, one major thing that you can do or attain, and it will trickle down into everything else and improve everything else. So I'll give you an example. Like, one of our wildly important goals is getting our credit score to a certain level, right? Because we know we're wanting to buy a home. So we need that to buy a home. We also need credit to get other things that we need. So it's like that, getting our credit score to a certain point is a wildly important goal because it affects several other goals too. So we'll also post that book in the comments. It was a really book. It was a really good book.
I mean, we have a lot of books. Well, there's a few books that you can read to kind of help you with those goals, or just, I guess the biggest thing that I would suggest in this new year is to educate yourself. Albert and I look up things we talk about all of the time, and especially Albert. Albert will research, and I will too. I go down the rabbit hole and look up things and be watching videos and find books and things like that on it. But I guess one of the most important things in this new year, setting resolutions and goals, is to be kind to yourself. Celebrate the small wins, because that was something that I had challenges with for a very long time. I still do sometimes. I just feel like, anybody can do that. I don't give myself enough credit for the wins, and I definitely think that you should, give yourself credit for the wins.
Yes, and in 2025, we're not giving up in 2025. Let's normalize not giving up, okay? You set a goal. This is the thing, right?
Just because you didn't meet it in 25 doesn't mean you can't meet it in 26.
It's not even about meeting it in 25. It's like what Erica was just saying. Like, give yourself grace, right? You might fall off, but that's okay. Jump right back on. A lot of people, they feel like
fall off and give up.
A lot of people feel like on that 10th day, it's like, well, I already fell off, so I might as well just restart another time. No. When you fall off, when you notice you fell off, just jump right back on.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the difference this year. What really makes your year this year better than other years is just decide not to give up.
Just keep going.
Just decide not. Even if you fall off the wagon once, twice, what's her name? She said, give yourself 1,000-second chances.
Yeah.
This year, be willing to give yourself 1,000-second chances. It don't matter how many times you fall off.
Eric Thomas said,
give yourself another chance.
Try to keep going.
Don't
try to quit. All right, y'all. With that being said, we're gonna rate this place. Ambiance vibe, because it's so intimate and it's so laid back, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Decor, I feel like even though it's nice, it's still kind of incomplete. So I'm gonna give it maybe a 7 out of 10. This pastry was definitely a 10 out of 10 for me.
The coffee and the pastry to me was straight 10 out of 10.
So 10 out of 10. Customer service was phenomenal.
Really, yeah.
I love coming to a coffee place. We don't always get a chance to look at the menu before we come because it's not always available. But when people are willing to explain things to you and tell you what they have, it definitely helps the experience. So overall, I would give this place a 9 out of 10.
I would give it a 9 out of 10 too.
Yeah.
Definitely a 9 out of 10.
All right, y'all. Be sweet, be kind, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace out.